So here we are today, finally doing the first mod to the M4. And I know when the car looks this good, it's hard to imagine that we would even want to do any mods to this thing. But trust me, we have a lot that we're going to do engine-wise, cosmetic-wise. And today is going to be something a little bit unexpected, but if you know from the WRX, it's something that I like to put on all of my cars that I have. So let's first hop into the WRX, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So this interior is pretty bare bones, and there's not a lot of stuff that's in here, but one thing that I love about this car that is aftermarket is this Android Auto Apple CarPlay head unit. And I'm sure you guys know everything that goes on with head units like this, where you can just connect your phone to it, see your maps, music, take calls, just connect your phone to the car, make it a lot easier to do navigation, music, all that. And it's something that this car has that I think the M4 missed by a year or two. I think it's 2017 or 2018, something like that, gets Apple CarPlay on it, Android Auto, but this is just a little bit behind. And again, this car is extremely beautiful, has an amazing engine. But this is just something that for me is definitely not like a deal breaker or anything like that. It's just definitely something that's nice to have. And after doing some research, it seems like the boys over at Beamer Tech can help us out with this. So like we said, I can connect my phone and everything to this. There's just no option for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So tomorrow is my appointment to actually get the software and everything coded onto there, but there's one thing that we have to do before tomorrow. And that is with this simple Wi-Fi cable right here. And we do need this to let them connect into the car and, you know, upgrade it and everything, but we'll get to this later. So what we're gonna do is unfortunately tear into the dash a little bit. We can pull it out, plug in the Wi-Fi adapter, put it all together, and then we're gonna be ready to get it coded to have Apple CarPlay on it for tomorrow. So in case you're curious and you're gonna do something similar to this is the iDrive 4 to iDrive 6 coding flash. Now, one thing that's a little upsetting is that it does only work with Apple CarPlay. I think you need iDrive 7 if you want Android Auto. It does support Android screen mirroring, so it's definitely not gonna be as nice as like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto just because it's mirroring the screen and that's it. But enough talk, let's rip this thing open so it can be ready for tomorrow. First, we must start by prying this top section of the dash off. Behind there is just two plugs that you need to disconnect really quickly. Now we have access to the two top T20 screws that need to come out. If we push down, this bottom plate comes out, which gives us access to now the bottom two T20 screws. Now there is just two more left that we have to take out, and we can pull out this head unit. Excuse the camera angle, but we're missing a connector right here on this plug. And this is exactly where our Wi-Fi connector goes. So we're gonna hook that up, fish the wire down in there, and then we'll just put everything back. All right, we're in there all snug. It's probably good to make sure everything works after we did all that stuff. But we got everything put back together now, so it should be set up and good to go for tomorrow. Connect this to our laptop, and then he's gonna be able to flash iDrive 6 on the car. So we'll see you guys tomorrow when we go into all of that. Okay guys, it is currently the next day. And I charged up our battery pack because it's gonna take about an hour for them to flash it, so you're recommended to hook up the battery to one of these so that way it doesn't die. We got my old school laptop here because it's the only one I could find that had an Ethernet port on it. So that way we can plug in our OBD2 connector so they can actually connect to the car, flash everything, all that stuff. So there's just a little more prep that we have to do. We gotta take this off and get to our battery here so that way we can connect that onto the battery terminals, keep the battery all charged up. And now I don't actually know how long this battery can last for, so we got my little extension cable here. Same thing with this laptop. It's a little bit old. I don't know if it could actually last an hour on its own battery power, so we're gonna have to leave it plugged in. We got about 5 minutes until showtime, and take a look at this pretty gangster setup. So we had to pull power from the garage. We got our laptop plugged in since the battery doesn't last that long. And we got our Ethernet cable connected to the OBD2 of the car. And then this cable here is really just a backup in case this gets low on power. I've actually never tested it out to see how long the battery lasts on it, but I don't want it to die in the middle of this process and then something happens like it gets bricked or whatever. So just in case we have some extra power. I'm gonna go ahead and send over the code and then we can get this process started. He's doing it, he's doing it. But he's getting started right now and I'm very interested to see how this all works and stuff. I'm kind of gonna be watching it a little bit as he's going through it because it is a little bit interesting. I do feel bad though because this laptop is kind of junk. So I wonder if that affects how quickly he can like read stuff off of the car. So guys, with everything finally wrapped up, it is time to test it. So let's get the car booted up here. Now I do feel like it is a little stupid to get excited over something that's kind of simple like this and doesn't really do very much for the car besides like quality of life stuff. But honestly, it's something that's very important to me and something that I super love and care about whenever I have a car. It's just so nice to be able to do everything from the screen. It's just all built in, you know, everything just works together. And here it is, Apple CarPlay on the F82 M4. We can use our little dial here. You can kind of see it move between the options and stuff, you know, scroll through all of our different things. And it's all just using this dial. It's all just built in. And this is something that we're gonna have to fix in the future. I'll give you guys an update on that. But here we are, the first mod that we are doing to the M4. I know it's not entirely what you probably expected the first thing to do to this car. So for reference, I think I spent about $200 on the head unit that's in the WRX right now that adds Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So our OBD2 Ethernet cable was about $15 on Amazon. I think the Wi-Fi antenna shipped was $20, maybe like $23. And to pay for them to actually update the software on this, I used a promo code that was on their website and it worked. And I think it was a little like $154, something like that. So for basically how much it costs to put the Apple CarPlay Android Auto head unit into this car is what we paid to upgrade this to Apple CarPlay and Android screen mirroring. So maybe it'll cast differently depending on what your phone is, but it kind of looks like this is what you get. It does suck because having the screen mirroring is nice. You can actually put your phone onto the screen, but having something like Apple CarPlay is just going to function so much better. And it does suck that you can't upgrade to iDrive 7 on these unless you swap out the whole thing. But the install is all done, ready to go. I tested it out and everything's functioning good. You can use all the old features you were able to, and now you can use Apple CarPlay with it. I don't know if you could use this before, but it prompted me whenever iDrive 6 was now installed onto it, that you can do all the like remote things like lock your car, unlock it, honk the horn, you know, tell it to heat up or cool down or whatever before you get into it. So that's super neat. So this segment might randomly fit into one of the videos you guys are seeing about the M4. Because as you know, this car is saying that the service is due and it needs an oil change. So before we can really get into the meat and potatoes of this car, we gotta go ahead and do that just so everything is at a good, you know, level. And so that's where FCP Euro comes in clutch. We got their whole kit here. Filter with the gaskets, got our drain plug gasket, all the oil we could need. So we got away with this a little bit with the WRX, but we might have to get like ramps or something because I'm gonna test out my jacks. I don't know if they're gonna fit under here. Just the world giving me another reason to buy a lift. Like I said, I really need a lift. Okay, with the car up, let's go ahead and remove this cap. We'll take the filter out. That way it can be easier to drain. Now we just need to unscrew our oil filter so we can go ahead and swap out everything with that. Come to the bottom of the car and drain all of the oil out of it. I made a little mess. So while this car drains and everything, we get to do the fun oil filter. And I know it probably sounds stupid to say, but I'm actually kind of excited to do this. Because I mean, with my oil filter, you don't get to do all this. But we gotta swap out this gasket, swap out this one with the ones that are already on there. And then we can pop our new filter on. And there's just two little gaskets that we have to swap out, the tiny green one and the large black one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and oil both of them up as I'm putting them back on. And then we just need to slide our new filter on top. All right, I torqued things down to the recommended 25 Newton meters. We're gonna go ahead, pop our filter back in, and then start filling her up. And now this car needs 6.5 liters of oil. Now maybe I'm like old school for saying this, but it does seem weird that you can't just like check the dipstick or something. You have to come in here and like measure it and everything, but maybe I'm just not used to the European way. Okay, now I believe we have to hold down our button until it says, okay. We're on engine oil, so we're gonna hold it again. And now it says reset question mark, so I'm gonna hold it again. Hey, reset successful. But this is where we're gonna call it for today and where the M4 sits for now until we do some big boy mods. I know for some this might have been a little disappointing, you know, it's not downpipe and tune or, you know, changing up some carbon fiber exterior bits or anything like that, but it is something that I really care about and I'm excited that we're already getting in to modifying this car and making it my own. So drop a comment down below if there are any mod recommendations that you guys have for things that we should be doing to this car. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Stay tuned for more M4 stuff. We're doing lots of stuff with this car. It's brand new. We got so many different ideas, mods, all that stuff to do to it. So I'm interested to see what your guys' opinions are for different things that we should do to this car. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, dislike, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.